everyone to Hacking Music Conversations. My name is Jansen, and I'm a graduate of Hacking Music Training. And I'm here with the creator of Hacking Music, John Pisciotta. John,
Good
welcome.
morning. Hey AJ, how you doing?
Good. How have you been?
I'm fantastic.
So glad to be here on this Wednesday, diving even deeper into the topics that we were talking about. And we're going to be going even deeper into some of the things that we're going to be premiering in July.
That's right. What about 2.5 weeks out now?
Yes, yes, July 5th. We're really excited about so many fun things that we're going to do and so many amazing guests that we're going to actually kind of talk about a little bit later. But
Yeah,
I thought today maybe we can go into some of the highlights that we're going to be working on in the 7-day challenge that starts July 5th.
yeah, you bet. So we've got 7 days, the 5th through the 13th, and what we wanted to do was pick out kind of the seven essential themes that from the Hacking Music private training group that are really essential to get that out there to as many artists as possible. So day one is going to be artist as hacker.
Okay.
And what that is about is bringing a hacker worldview and bringing that to bear on yourself as an artist. So,
So let me ask you this, John. So hacker, can you explain that a little bit more?
yeah,
Like artist as hacker,
yeah,
what that entail and why is it called artist as
yeah,
hacker?
yeah. So instead of thinking of yourself as just an artist, um, healthy artists, strong artists think of themselves as hackers and entrepreneurs. They find a way to do it. They don't wait to be chosen. They put themselves in the game and they figure out solutions to problems. So it's very much a worldview that's different from just being creative. Like people can be creative all day, but they don't get momentum, they don't get traction, they don't put points on the board. So artist as hacker is about 10 different components that we'll go through that help them get on offense, help them get aggressive, help them put points on the board while still being an artist. But now they're thinking about finding a way in. Art hackers don't ask for permission, they just give themselves permission. They find a way to put things together, and that helps them. That helps them. Hackers, of course, come from the technology world, Zuckerberg, etc., who just figure out ways to build things, to build teams, to build experiences. And that's exactly what an artist does every day of their
Yeah,
life.
that's one of the things that I mean, many things I've learned in the training courses, but that was one of the things that was really important to learn because we all have a view of, well, the music business is going to come knocking on my door. Well, you kind of have to make it happen for yourself,
Yeah,
especially this day and age.
yeah, absolutely. It's the mantra of asking for forgiveness instead of permission. You know, baby artists will ask for permission. They'll ask for somebody to like them and to put them in the game, whether it's a record label or a whatever. And hackers don't ask for permission. They ask for forgiveness and they just go and do things. Everything's not going to be perfect, and that's expected, but they don't sit on the sidelines and wait for the perfect world and the perfect universe before they take action. They take action every day and they stay on offense. They're still creating great music, but they're not on the sidelines waiting for somebody to put them in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's a definite different mind shift when you think of your career in that perspective. I know that that's really, really important. Is that why it's one of the first modules that we're going to be
I
diving into?
I think it's core to everything else we build on. If you don't have a healthy foundation, um, we can't stack on top of that and talk about teams and talk about execution, talk about differentiation until you have a solid foundation. So, yeah, that's why it's first. Day one at Hacking Music X is going to be all about that.
Yeah, and then we also have now the second module that we're going to be going through. creative differentiation.
Yeah, day two is all about creative differentiation. How does an artist become original? And everybody tells you, well, you need to be original. You don't want to be a copycat. So we're on day two. We're going to go through um, a strategic framework we use that really helps you make decisions with that intent in mind in order to set yourself apart, to not be a clone, and to really create something original. Nobody needs another, you know, Metallica clone. How do
Right.
you become the next Metallica is the question we want to work through. So yeah, that's how do you become an original, and that's day two is all about creative differentiation.
And you take the artist through different things they can do to really find out how
Yeah,
they can be different.
yeah, it's a question set. There's four questions that we go through, and this isn't something you get right. You're not going to get this right on July 6th. Like you're not
Right.
going to go, oh, I figured it out. Now I'm Prince. What you do is you get this right over time. You answer these four questions every day for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and what happens is you start to compound those decisions. We say in hacking music, one of the tenets of hacking music is everything has a destination. The decisions you make today affect the you 6 months from now, next year. So your decisions matter. And I think a lot of the time artists can kind of just think, well, I'm just going to be creative and, you know, magical things will happen.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
that might have worked 30 years ago, probably not, but now it definitely doesn't work. You can't just be creative and hope for a good outcome. Um,
Right.
so the
And
differentiate those questions really start to compound. They're a filter, a lens that you look through, and you answer those questions every day, and it yields great results. It's like compounded interest. Over time, they start to stack and stack and stack, and then you have $500,000, $1 million, $2 million.
yeah, and that's important because you want to position yourself where things will happen for you. It's planned. It's like planning your career, and that's something that you really have to think about, and that's what I love about the modules is that it shows you how to do that.
Yeah, it breaks them down into things that are digestible. We don't just want to say, yeah, go win a Grammy or go become an original. We
Right.
want to break it down to where you can ask those questions every day and work it out for yourself. So that's kind of the heart and part of the fiber of hacking music is digestible, small steps and decisions that
Yeah,
help.
and it's exciting. It's actually fun to do that for yourself.
It is.
Because
It's
I know as
free.
artists we're thinkers and our mind is always constantly going. So
Yeah.
to have it focused and have it be productive in that way where it's going to help you in the long run is it was great for me.
It,
So
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear you say that, AJ, because we hear that a lot, and it's like artists can get frustrated because they're trying to do the right thing, but they're kind of hitting their head up against a wall. 70,000 songs are being released a day, so how do you get above that noise? Um,
yeah,
so yeah, these are simple things that help you kind of strengthen you and empower you to feel like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. I'm not going crazy. I'm not, I wasn't hitting my head up against a wall for nothing. There is a way to do that right, and what we've done is kind of compiled that within hacking music.
yeah,
So
that's exciting.
yeah, it's fun
Yeah,
stuff for sure.
yeah. So what would be the next module that we're looking at?
Yeah, so Wednesday we're gonna move into tactical shit.
All
Do more
right.
of the right things more of the time. Um, and day three is about execution. It's how do you do the stuff that you need to do better. Um, there are tools and frameworks and habits that we talk about in hacking music that allows you to do more than you think you can do. Um,
So it pushes you.
it pushes you. It hacks how you work. It strengthens their. We call them force multipliers. Um, when you do these things, you're able to the result. You're able to increase the result more and more. So again, it's kind of gamifying the way you work. So it's a whole day about execution, tactical stuff, project management. How do you make decisions that yield kind of more output for yourself and your team, both creatively and then non-creatively for an artist?
Because it's important to know, obviously, the business side and your career side so you can actually have a full picture. Because I know for myself, if I don't have a full picture of everything, then I can't be as productive in the music business as I want to be with my career.
Yeah.
So
And what we hear often is that it actually frees up time to be more creative and do the fun stuff, writing, being in the studio, that stuff. When your house is in order, it kind of frees up that mental space to go, okay, now I can go do the fun stuff that, we all,
yeah, we love
is
the
already.
songwriting, the recording,
Yeah,
the performing,
exactly.
all of that.
Yeah.
I know
It
that's what
frees
I
you
look.
it frees you up to do more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's day 3,
Okay.
tactical.
What's on day 4?
Day 4 is all about songs. It's the super song module, the good, the bad, and the insanely great.
So what's a super song?
Yeah, a super song um, are those songs that affect people powerfully. You could think about in the film world, there are those archetypes, those film archetypes that, Star Wars just affects people more than any other, other films. And there's some reasons why that song or that film archetype is powerful. So we move that into the song realm, and uh, there's 4 different types of songs, archetypes, and it's important to know what they are. It's important to know them for some really important reasons. One is that one song quadrant yields 80% of the revenue for the
Wow.
publishing
Yeah.
world. So you want to know that. You may want to write more of those songs. It's probably smart to do so. Um, um, so that's an important reason to really understand super songs and archetypes.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite modules because I write so much and I know fellow artists write a lot, the singer-songwriters that I know. And for me this was important because it's not only about writing how you feel, but it's also writing from the perspective of your audience because what you feel has to come across so that they can relate to it. And that's why this was one of the most important ones for me because I
Yep.
want to be able to write from a perspective of the audience so that they
Yep.
can really relate to the song and the ones that we really remember are songs that we really relate to.
Yes. 100% AJ. And I mean you've gone through the training so you have that clarity now. Uh,
Right.
but baby artists and developing artists um, will often just write every song that comes to them. Right. It's called writing to a concept rather than writing from a concept. Um, so so yeah, the end listener, it's like a film. Again, we pull a lot from the film world. Um, great films give the audience a way to step into that film, whether it's The Godfather or Star Wars or Rocky or
Even Jaws.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's
We hear
not
that.
about Steven Spielberg. It's about that kid in the seat, and that's
Right.
the same template we use with hacking music. It's like, look, it's not about you and your song. It's about how you touch that person in the seat and
That's right.
how you give them a way to step into your song. Your songs are important, but what's more important than your songs is how do you give them a way into those songs? And baby artists, developing artists don't think about that, but deploying and dominating artists, that's all they think about is am I telling the story of that person in the seat, or am I just telling my story and trying to float my ego? Uh,
Yeah, it's
so
great.
so
That's why I
yeah,
found it so
Super
awesome,
Songs.
especially, yeah,
Super
it's great
Songs is
stuff. Shift
Thursday.
your
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was great to shift my mind in that. It was like an almost like an aha moment
Totally.
as an artist. So
Yeah, and it's helpful because your writing time is important, and you don't
right,
want you. We talk about building your songs in the right neighborhood. So if the right neighborhood yields 80% of the revenue for all the houses in the world, that's a valuable neighborhood. So you get to like say, okay, yeah, I'm going to write that song, but I'm not going to write these songs that are non-starters. I'm just going to write the songs that have legs and that connect with the end audience. So
yeah,
it's a really important lens to think through, and it really saves writing time. So you're not writing every song; you're just writing the songs that are the super songs. You know,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I don't want to give too much away, but
No,
yeah,
no,
it's a great
let's give it away.
that'll be a fun day too.
Yeah.
So what's next on the
So
agenda?
Friday, day 5, will be sync supervision and clearance. So here at Jetpack, we have a business unit called the Sync Center, and we do supervision, sync and supervision for films, network streamers, corporate events. Anytime music is attached to moving pictures, this thing called a sync license has to happen. So it's really important because there's more and more networks, there's more and more content out there. There's YouTube, there's branded videos. Um, so that's an important growth area for all artists.
Yeah, and the thing that comes to mind, I remember doing the training, is that there was one part where it's like you list, I think you had it in the book where just if you put the TV on for like 1 hour and pinpoint how many times you hear music, um, I was blown away by that because you don't really even pay attention to that because you're even for that 1 hour. I mean, there was numerous times there was music the whole time actually,
It's almost
and
wall
the
to wall.
speaking parts in shows are it's almost like there's more music than speaking parts.
Yeah, yeah, and Friday's important because we go through some sync licenses and really break them down, um, term by term, and we're going to look at a recent license we just did last week for a project we're supervising, and just talk about it. Say, okay, here are the deal points. Here's what was negotiated. Here's why we wanted it in the project. Here were some other songs that we could have used to replace it, but we fought for this song. So so Friday will be all about sync supervision and clearance. We're going to have a great guest trainer on that day, which we'll be talking about more on the next module,
Yeah,
on the next live stream. But yeah, it's going to be great. Friday is all sync supervision and clearance. And then Monday, day 6, we're going to talk about e-commerce and monetizing experiences.
can
Uh,
you explain e-commerce a little bit and that
yeah. So
why that's important and what that actually means in an artist's
yeah, yeah. So as artists, you're a business and you sell stuff. You don't just hope and wish and create magical things. You really have to think about, okay, what is being sold here? Is it my show? Is it my songs? Is it my product? Is it my merchandise? So an important part of e-commerce is the idea of inputs drive outputs. So if you have one product for sale, that's not so great. If you have 5 products for sale, then there's more things for people to buy. So we go through kind of a entry understanding of e-commerce, looking at some SaaS tools we use that helps our artists get their store in the top 5% of all e-commerce, and even artists, doing having $1,000 days over and over again. So you stack 1K days back to back. That's a good year, for most
yeah.
artists.
It
Um,
was this was something that I was lacking in, so I
yeah,
definitely this is like a work in progress for me. So
yeah, and it's we say that hacking music isn't something you get right at the first reading or viewing. It's something you get right over time. So now
Right.
you're able to kind of come back to that and plug in some of those things as a support system for you as an artist. The other piece of Monday is experiences. So in the book, we call it Welcome to the Experience Economy. And what that means is that it's not about silver discs anymore. You can still sell those, but it's not just about those. So we at Jetpack, we are an artist experience company. So we look at the different ways that artists can be experienced. I don't know if you see the hub and spokes, but instead of just having, you know, CDs and live shows, you
Right.
know, what are the other ways you can be experienced as an artist? So we want to start unpacking those things and thinking through what those experiences are. Um, your fans and your followers want to touch you and experience you in all these new different ways. So it's your job as an artist and as an entrepreneur and a business owner to give them those ways, put them
Yeah.
in place in a way that serves your fans and followers. So we talk through what the experience economy looks like, artists who really kind of were pioneers in the experience economy. Um, Artists like the Grateful Dead and Cirque du Soleil. And again, there's a lens of four ways that Cirque du Soleil and the Grateful Dead um, created an experience for their fans. Um,
Right.
and so, as artists, you're not competing with other artists. You're competing with Cirque du Soleil, you know,
That's right.
um, and the Jimmy Buffetts of the world, who yeah, it's about music, but it's more about what kind of experience you can stage for your fans and followers. So that's
I mean, we live in such a visual world that
totally,
that's what, that's it, and if you're not up to par with that, I learned
yeah,
from
yeah. I mean, you're
that.
in charge. You're in charge of your business, so it's up to you to give your fans and followers ways to touch you and to step into your world. So Cirque du Soleil is a great kind of model to think about how they did it. And Cirque du Soleil was founded by a stilt walker and a fire sword swallower. So I'm like, okay, if a freaking stilt walker can build a multi-billion-dollar company, then artists themselves can kind of steal from them and put some things in place for themselves. Um, so that is day 6, and then day 7 is the habits of headliners. Train yourself, your business, and your mind. So um, the habits of headliners is all about stealing from other artists. What worked for them can work for you. You may have heard that success leaves clues. Um,
Yeah.
that one person's hindsight is the next person's foresight. So we talk about habits. What are our current habits now? Are they healthy? Are they giving you the results you need and want? And then how do we add healthier habits? It's called habit stacking, to where you build into your day super simple 2, 3, 5 minute habits that give you the results that you're working towards. And again, it's much like compounded interest. Um, when your habits are there, the results follow. So we are where we are today because of our habits from last year and 2 years ago.
Right.
So we want to
And
take that
and
seriously.
these are things, John, that actual headliners and companies use. This isn't just something that, was thrown together. That's what I loved about it so
Yeah,
much, is that this is actually stuff that, you know, that
yeah,
companies use and you use with your clients.
totally. All we've done is we've assembled and borrowed over the last 15 to 20 years of our meetings and our dealings with headliners, family estates, um, joint ventures we've done, and some of the awards we've won. All we've done is taken notes, and we've got a big binder like this big over the last 20 years that we just took notes and go, man, that the head of Sony Publishing said this in a meeting. Really important. I want to write it down and come back to it and think about it later. And that really became hacking music, all the different strategic frameworks and force multipliers in the training. We just take good notes and we share it.
That's great.
You know,
And thank you for doing that.
absolutely too. And we should also. Do we want to talk about our keynote
Yes.
for
Oh,
the?
yes, definitely. So we're going to have a special guest, Rodney Jenkins. You want to talk about
Yeah,
him a little bit?
Rodney Jerkins is a friend of
Jenkins.
ours and a stellar person, an incredible producer who has produced Michael Jackson, George Michael, Whitney Houston, Justin Bieber. We'll put his credits on the link below. But we spoke at an event at Harvard 2 years ago where we actually launched Hacking Music. So he's gonna be speaking on Tuesday, day 7, and he's gonna be training artists on how he thinks, how he operates, what works for him, his top 3 habits and hacks. Um, he's going to kind of open source it and give it away. Um, so Rodney's great. He has a great story. Never went to music college, never was properly trained, but just has a great hustle and a great brain for music. And he's going to be great. He's going to be
Yeah, I mean, look at the things he's done and the projects he's worked on and given so much beautiful music in this world. It's amazing. I'm so excited that he's going to be a part of this.
yeah. It's it's
So I
it's going to
can't
be
wait to meet him.
it's going to be a each day is going to be fantastic. So we're excited to have Rodney join us as a guest trainer.
So we start July 5th. It's Hacking Music
Yeah.
X. The link is below. So if you want to register, click on the link. The first 100 registrants get a free spot. So anything you want to add, John, before we go?
No, I'd just say, thanks to everybody that signed up. We're going to be releasing more tickets coming up next week, so you definitely want to reserve your spot sooner rather than later. But it's going to be a great week for sure. I'm thrilled with um, having you as kind of a guest co-host.
Well, thank you. I am so honored to be here, and I can't wait to go through all this with everyone and meet Rodney. I mean, I'm excited about that.
It's going to be fun for sure. So yeah, you can grab your tickets below, and we'll be coming on here more over the next coming weeks to talk about Hacking Music X.
Monday we'll be back.
See you then.
All right, John. Bye.